Shut up and sit down.
I'm Kitson O'Neill, Artistic Associate here at Interact, and I'm having a conversation with...
I'm Will Snider, the playwright of How to Use a Knife.
We're going to talk about plays, kitchens, and all kinds of stuff.
One of the last work environments with kind of no HR department, and people say things to each other in the way that you might playing sports or in a kind of, or what I've seen from like a war movie, but you could say really cruel and sort of un-PC things to one another, and the game of it was like you couldn't get offended, and because it was happening in the moment, people were sort of like, and there was also, people would scream at each other. And I think the best restaurants try not to function that way, and this was a good restaurant, but I feel like all restaurants, there's the potential for this. But then 2 hours later, you're at a bar having beers with those coworkers and you're friends again. And I think it was really interesting to me that it's like you could see this, it just was like, this is a play. I think there's something so fascinating about this space. And also, it's really, in a city like New York that's so diverse, and any major city where there's a lot of diversity, it's actually one of the few places where there is real cross-demographic interaction by necessity, and where I felt like I was working with coworkers who I wouldn't see in my bar in my neighborhood.
Yeah. Now the play's it's a rolling world premiere.
Yeah. So
talk about the other productions in the other theaters.
Well, the amazing thing about this rolling world premiere program is that they took a chance on this play, and they took a chance on it with 4 different theaters banded together to do it. And for me as a young playwright, I was living in this world of new play readings. Like in New York, I felt like it's a good year if I had 1 or 2 readings that year.
Right.
But what I saw among my peers is that we were all kind of writing to these readings, and so we were writing like radio plays. I mean, I think that you don't really learn how to talk to designers. You drop kind of spectacle from your work because you are focused so much on language and so much on new play readings.
Right. And I love this feedback in the reading that's like, I didn't really understand that. It's like, well, yes, because many elements are missing.
But it also changes the way you write, because you are thinking about how something sounds in just a stage reading. Right. And especially for this play, How to Use a Knife, it was like we wanted to, it's in a kitchen. The choreography of the kitchen is so essential to the piece that readings, though, they went well and I liked them, they never really captured, for instance, Carlos and Miguel don't have quite as many lines as the chef, but they are like working the entire time.
Motion.
Yeah, and so getting a sense of that kind of like widescreen of the kitchen was really, I couldn't get it for a reading.
You have no idea what's happening in the back, and like
it's true theater as well.
Right, yeah, but like the beauty of what's happening back there, this sort of crazy ballet that's not about art, but it's about the practical, but that has a level of art to it.
Well, that's what's been so heartening about Rolling World Premiere. Like a place like Interact taking a chance on this play is, as a young playwright, I was sort of always told, right, small cast, no set, and that's how that's what's going to get produced.
Big cast, crazy set.
And I wrote this being like, this is the one that no one's going to do, and it's the first one that anyone ever did. But it's actually because places like Interact got excited about the challenge of it.
Yeah.
And so it's totally like screwed with my head in terms of like what I think people want to do.
What are the rules?
Right? Yeah, it just teaches you again not to anticipate, just to write the thing you're going to write and not anticipate because the biggest thing for me is access to really quality actors. I think and it's one thing you can certainly get pizza and beer and have your friends over and read it, but like to give that chance where you're in a room working on something and people are like, oh, we're at the office doing this. Right. To find an institution where you can get access to really, really good actors to hear new plays so you can get them ready for production. Because I think Knife had the advantage of having been with groups of actors at different times, so that when it finally got to the point to go to a production, I knew loosely how to talk about it. We were actually just trying to complete the play. So that's the next thing I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, it's amazing, like a local acting pool that has depth and quality.
Yeah.
That's key.
Yeah, and I'm so excited to be in Philadelphia. Like this cast is amazing.
It is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Not to brag or anything, but that's a pretty great room of actors.
It's so much fun watching it.
Yeah, good, cool. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Interact TV watchers.
Shut up and sit down.